Hey guys, Krusty Old Crow over here. Just doing a quick bonus video, to show the inner psychopath in all of us. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this video, but any way you describe it, the title's enticing to be wrong for so many reasons. But today I'm going to show you guys some things I've learned about disassembling not just any classified figures, but the female classified figures specifically, because there is a slight different consideration with each of them, and I'm going to show you some examples here, but I'm going to have my little slideshow up. You know I'm nothing without the slideshow, and you know the crow, he don't go away. Crow just gonna wait for this little woman, this Lady Jaye figure to soak. I'm going to take her hat out of there. She's not going to need it. Yeah, so I've done 3 videos today just explaining to you how I want to look at the 24-25 Hasbro possibilities for surprises, what was unexpected and what was expected, and what I did a comparison against the 82 to 85 releases. Maybe I'll do another one from 86 on, just trying to narrow down some thoughts on that. But I also went on and checked out the new Skybound comic book, and I didn't give the right credit to anybody on that, and I'm going to do that now before I get too far into it there. So yeah, like I said, I'm being a mad scientist today, and I'm being a bit of a detective today as well, and trying to figure things out. And it's not just for enlightening myself and others, or coming up with good theories. It's also so I know what I'm free to do conversions and variations on, and not have that exact figure come out a week or a month or 6 months later and I'm disappointed because I did that variant. So one guy I wanted to pay credit to is Billy in Action. I am now subscribed to Billy in Action. Billy is the guy I was saying in the video number 2, I think it was, for today on the investigation. He was the guy reading me the comic, and definitely, I think, a New Yorker, Brooklyn kind of guy. Definitely loves the read, and he's really good, and he keeps it at a really good pace. And yeah, I stole a couple screenshots of Joe frames just to capture my point today, and I did that from Billy. So thank you very much, Billy in Action, for enlightening me on what's been going on with G.I. Joe, whether I like it or not. Who else do I need to send a shout out? Oh, and there was some of the things that he helped me discover, right? The new type of bats that I mentioned. Remember, classified and the comics, they're parallel together. The characters in the current comic by Skybound, they were drawn up around our Joe collection, right? What we see in classified now, those are the character archetypes. So any new characters that we see in that series is fair game to go back into classified, because it's marketable, and that's exactly how it all ran in the 80s too, guys. So that was good to discover Billy in Action. He also brought me into Wade Collins and Laura 343, and Laura 343 is one of the other reasons I'm doing what I'm doing today. No, I'm not using Lady Jaye for it though. Okay, some other inspiration. You guys know, friends with Aaron the Toy Enhancer, and one of the things that tipped me towards doing conversions was I saw how his ninja turned out, and I was like, that's it, I've got to try this for myself. I had a lot of theories and approaches. Aaron talked about which approach he used. I'd seen some others, so I decided to go execute some of this. But I was also very inspired by another guy, Matt Ma Films. He does Star Wars conversions, a lot of them. Conversions, repaints, kit bashes. When I say conversion, I mean all of those things, even just as simple as a repaint. I try to be specific, but sometimes they're just all-encompassing terms. But he's fantastic because he's another guy that shares every lesson he learns, and then he'll turn you on to an approach that he solved the problem with, right? One of the problems I had, or yeah, I did have with Bull, my 40K artist proof that I turned into something, was I had a hard time with paint sticking. It was rubbing off like mad. Matt Ma Films actually showed me the way around that. And I do find repainting pre-painted Joes actually a lot easier than what I found with the McFarlane artist proof. Well, I shouldn't say Joes, figures. The only one I've done so far is Zap, that's done, but I am finding the paints being applied to several Hasbro figures much better than the McFarlane one for some reason. So Matt Ma was one I want to turn you onto. An action figure junkie, of course, is a guy that is I aspire to Hopefully one day get to this guy's level. Everything he does looks crisp and clean. He keeps his show simple. It's a lazy Susan pendulum display of the figure going in circles. He talks about what he kit bashed, what he 3D printed, what he did, what he wanted, and he keeps the backgrounds relevant to the characters, and they're stunning looking stuff. But yeah, they're not what I'm capable of. Crow don't do anything clean. He don't do anything crisp. Crow's a rough kind of guy. I'm a scratch builder. I'm a piece it together. I'm like what I said about Bob Ross, the ex-helicopter pilot from Vietnam. What a psychopath, right? But painting portraits, and anytime he makes a mistake, oh, that's a happy little cloud. I am filled with happy little clouds. All right, so enough blowing sunshine up their ass. Like I said on my one video, when I first started my YouTube channel and I first started collecting this, I was feeling out just where I wanted to take Crusty Old Crow tactical perspective stuff. I shared my sketchbook and said, let's design a Joe together. And I sat down and said, isn't it fun to draw G.I. Joe for the classified line? Just drawing it and coming up with ideas of what these new modernized characters would look like. So I came up with a modernized Flash and I shared it, and a modernized Zap and I shared it. And I had a modernized Steeler that I think I shared as well. But now we're well ahead, and now I'm doing conversions where I didn't think I would. And some of them are based off those exact sketches. It's me closing my own loop. And man, does that ever feel good. But that's not what we're here for, is it? No. Dr. Mindbender is going to run some dark experiments in my Joe world because I can't find a good Dr. Mindbender. So I'm making one out of this wrestler figure and doing some kit bashing, getting to it. But mine won't be dark. Mine's going to be psychotic dark. I want it to be psychotic dark. Like we're talking, I want to play a game, right? So today we're going to play a game with you, Lady J. Because we'll just move the camera around really quick. What you don't realize, Lady J, is Flint made his choice, right? I made my choice. It's the retro line, Lady J. Flint, I did I told you guys what Flint sounds like usually in my head. It's a lot like John Tavares and the Maple Leaf as Steve Dangles. Hey guys, Lady J is wearing green today. It's the same color she wears every day. Therefore, she is my wife and I love her. Bye. That's my Flint impression. But anyways, what's that leave us for my classified Lady J? Well, that means she's spare parts. Parts and parts and parts and parts, right? So, really quick, the layout here. Right now, she's going to be the next Scream victim, horror story, slasher girl film, and that's the end of that slideshow. Hey, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and all that other garbage. I shouldn't say garbage, much appreciated things that you guys can do, and definitely participate in the comments. Hit me up with your own conversions and Joe-related stuff on my email, which is in the channel description, or ask how to reach me, and send me stuff, and videos and pictures of your collections and things like that, or conversions, and I'll happily share them on the channel. There, that was quick enough, eh? So what's going on over here is that we see the massacres already started before. I ran my first test on the Steel Core Trooper because I have a custom character already. I have a custom character I'm working on. I have two. One you've seen glimpses of the Night Owl character I'm trying to do, which is my RDC. Sorry, I'm gonna get this back. And the other is, of course, for I'm going to do a Laura 343 now that I've seen that. I think there's a lot of potential in doing that. But I also have a medic named Cross that I want to do. And that is basically where I'm going to leave this Marvel Legends Yelena Belova head, I think, is that's going to be medical analytics headset when I'm done with it. And that'll be my medic. But I'm going to kit bash a medic out of several parts. And I know I got some 3D parts coming, so I'm kind of taking my time to feel things out. But we need to make a pool. So when you pull apart the regular Joes, you need the same tools as the females, right? Vice grip's not necessary, but they're good to have a backup if you have to lock in. But just some vice nose pliers or a Gerber or anything like that are enough. And just like I did with my Steel Core Trooper, have a place to separate things and dry them. and I keep them in order. I've already taken Lady Jaye's kit away. I'm now going to reach into this boiling hot water that's been sitting there a while, and I'm just going to do the simple removes that I did for the Steel Core Trooper. There is one remove I don't want to do, but it's not with this figure, but I'll hopefully do it anyways. There we go. Her head. You always have to pay attention to which ball joint they got, because Joe has a variety of different ball joint sizes. And so not every head's compatible, and that's what I was trying to find out about my 3D parts, or any 3D parts, is where does the compatibility lie, you know, and I'll find out. And I'll work around it. I mean, if I have to do Dremel, I have to do Dremel. But I've seen there are videos on how to swap that ball out for smaller balls, and I am a big advocate of magnetization being the end-all solution, possibly substituting things with ball bearings if they're able to. Okay, so for the arms, they are very small. And because I'm going to want to do an entire repaint, you see how easily I can remove that kit? That was easy before, wasn't it? Shut up, Crow. Get on with the gross. I took the head off first to reduce the screaming. So we get in there, and you see the butterfly joint right there wants to pop out. So the ring can pop out, or the arm can pop out with it, or the arm can pop off alone. Either way, I'm going to pop it all out. So there's the hand and arm separation right there. I'll put them in a box right there, and do the same thing over here. I don't even know if I didn't need my vice grips for that. Okay, I don't think, do I want to take those shoulders out? I've already taken them out partially, so I might as well take them out the rest of the way. I'm gonna have to dip that back into the warm water for a bit. Just to loosen up that plastic and separate, right? But because these pieces are so thin, I don't want to put too much pressure on the pushing and pulling, because I don't know where the stress is going to actually kick in on a thinner piece. But you can guarantee it's always just that 1 second before you thought it would, right? So we'll pull off a leg. There we go. We'll pull off another leg. We'll just stick those back in the soak. Take this off. Okay, so the most interesting pieces, I'm still going to try and get that shoulder out, but I'm not committed to the need to, so yeah, I might just move the video along without it, but I'll give it one more good pull. And there, I'm going to stop there. Sometimes you get a warning, like, hey man, I'm not supposed to come out, because what's actually going on is there's a piece of connective rubber to one of the inner layers in there. So I'm going to put that back to soak. I'm going to pop that back in, and I'm going to leave the shoulders on the Lady Jaye as they are there, because this is different from the Steel Core. The Steel Core upper torso is actually the Scarlet upper torso, right? So the arms and everything match, as does hers. So the one I took apart the other day, it came apart as this will. However, the lower body is very much a Lady Jaye, and the lower body comes apart fine. But that was my lesson to learn on the shoulder, was that I don't necessarily want to take the shoulders out yet, or at all. We're just going to pop them back in. And that's where we have the problem, right? So I'll solve that. There we go. We got that shoulder back in. Now, what I found out with this figure was removing that neck joint, right? Heat it and pull it. I'm not doing that with the Steel Core female or with Scarlet ever again, because what I found was this collar, even when being heated in the, I don't think it mattered if I used a hairdryer, but I just always use boiling water. I found that perimeter still really tight to pop this back in. So all this rubber, all this rubbery plastic here that's trying to suction squeeze over the ball joint as you're pushing down is actually building up along the brim of the collar, because of you're not putting the exact right pressure on. So I'm not going through that again. I managed to get that back on, and I'm at least aware that's what it does with the Snake Eyes Scarlet Origins one that I'm going to trip down later. So what else am I taking off on this one? I'm going to disconnect the boots. Well, I think I'm going to disconnect the boots. I'll use my pliers again. The water might have cooled down between when I started putting everything together in the video And now, so we'll see if I can get one of these boots to pop off, and just so I can show you. Actually, I know how I can show you. I know how I can show you because it's the same leg pattern. Now, I don't disconnect the knees and I don't disconnect the hips because I haven't seen or remembered in the tutorials if I ever saw them do that. I know there's a way to get the old pin system out and put it back together easily, but I don't know about the new pin system, and I'm not eager to find out. Nothing I'm doing is that intense, but yeah, if you will use the steel core trooper, because she's going to get another boil. But the steel core trooper leg and her leg are the same leg. And the boots, I believe, are the exact same boots, just with a different paint app to the shin guard. So it's the same thing. So that's the amount of breakdown I do with that. The last piece I do want to get off is this hip. This whole hip apparatus should pop off like that. Now, there's two pieces to the hip apparatus. I'm done with that torso. That can go sit and dry. But I'm going to pop into this hip apparatus and slide this skin off of it. I call it the skin because that's essentially what we're talking about. We're talking about the fake, well, not the fake, but the detail layer that goes over the hips. Oh, that's right. I can't take this off. I found that out last night too. Because of the buttocks curvature on these figures for the females, the mold makes the waistband too tight, really, to slip it out. I haven't found the way to slip it out, but there you go. Steel core and Lady Jaye waistbands, or waist levels. Chop, 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 chop. That's all taken apart. Yeah, the boots want to come off now? Nope, they don't. And I don't feel the need to stress and do that for the video. I wanted to show you that stuff because I wanted to mention the neck being so brittle and frail. Well, not brittle and frail, but hard to squeeze back on, right? And so what I do with these now is I look at where the kit bashing happens. I take my time because, like I said, there might be other parts out there that are on their way that I could be using, and I don't want to rush things. But I do have some sketches of a custom medic I did for the Red Devil company, which is my Joe Task Force, my version of a Tiger Force, Night Force that I can build for myself. And so I had a medic based on that I wanted to do as part of the hovercraft crew for the hovercraft I'm building. So now I'm going to be looking at all the wonderful pieces that I've got, which basically the only thing new I'm bringing to the table tonight from Lady Jaye is her top half, right? But what's new to the table for the Steel Core Legion Trooper is a vest that fits, some brassards, no head at all, but some helmets for when I screw it up so bad that I just want to hide her face, and other additional kit that's sized for a female classified figure, right? The male kit's too big for a lot of the leg holsters and pouches and whatnot. Belts will sag off, so having a pool of that stuff based off what I consider extra characters. Is this destructive? Is this absorbently wrong? And by that I mean, like, is it wrong to rip apart these figures when they're collectibles and maybe they're not available anymore? I don't care. I don't care if it's wrong or right. At $30 to $50, that's about the same I was spending on models to paint that weren't anywhere near as interesting. Tabletop gaming will run me 5 times as much half the time to paint something of this scale. It's worth it. It is absolutely, I shouldn't say 5 times as much, maybe 3 times as much, right? $150 for a good, $200 for a good 6-inch Warhammer 40K game table model that you put together. And people kit bash the shit out of that all the time. So this is no different. In fact, this is way more cost effective. And I'm doing it with figures that I know I'm going to have seconds of, that I have a preference for one and not the other. Gung Ho, I prefer my retro Gung Ho. So my old Gung Ho, I was doing what I could with it. Now I'm going to do what I could with it via Jigsaw Psycho Crow. And that's the same story with Lady Jaye. It's the same story with Scarlet. And whether she knew it or not, like I said, I'm going to be doing that into probably a mind bender. But does Coil rider, I think I'm looking at how to do a Laura 343 as per my trilogy episodes today, as per the comic. And you know, I might look into how to do a Wade Collins. I'm very much looking into a Wade Collins, but I have a Marvel Legends female figure on the way working out. I'm not convinced that I'm going to go with the head I have for it, or if I'm going to hold off and see what becomes available. But having 4 or 5 female figures in a kit bash right now seems like it's given me quite a few choices to do some unique and different things. Unique to me, different to me. But maybe that isn't going to be the head I use for Night Owl. Maybe that'll go to one of the others. Who knows? Guys, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time doing this stuff. And I think that's going to be it right now. You're going to see my video on Zap here shortly, either at the end of the evening or first thing in the morning. And then I'm going to get to work on the next batch. And there's going to be more and more and more. Until new figures come out that I can actually review that I don't want to tear apart, like Metalhead, Airborne, the new retro lines, Duke Scarlet and Ricondo, all that stuff. Hey, thanks very much for today. This one's the last one, guys. And like I said, it was just a bonus episode. Talk to you soon. Bye.